Hi, Coach. Welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I know you have a lot has gone on in the last year. You've won another state championship 3 years in a row. You haven't lost a game, and your third championship. Last year, when I spoke to you, you weren't sure about the expectations that they for this year. And did you exceed what you thought you could accomplish?
Oh, absolutely. We graduated a great group of seniors. We were going to play some young players. I think we started six sophomores by the end of the year. So, if you told me we would be back where we were, go 12-0, win another state championship, starting six sophomores, I would have told you were crazy. But we did it how good teams do. We play great defense all year long. In 12 games, we only let up 90 points this year. And, our offensive guys, I mean, we didn't score a lot of points, but we also didn't turn the ball over. I think we only had 7 turnovers all year, which for a young group is pretty special. And, it's just the senior group really, came forward, really took charge, great leadership. Was a great influence on our younger players, and that had a lot to do with our success.
Do you think you're in a position now with the sophomores they've learned? Will they be able to carry on this tradition next year?
I hope so. I know we have a lot of work to do. Again, we're graduating another great senior group, and I think we only have 11 returning letter winners coming back next year. So we've got a lot of work to do in the off season, in the weight room, getting faster, stronger, things like that. So we got a lot of work to do. But that's the exciting part of building a high school football team.
When I've talked to the people in the community, they have the same thing to say. They say, "How was this? How were you able to do this 3 years in a row?" People just, I'm sure it's happened so fast for you. Maybe we can explore together how you were able to accomplish this, and your team was.
Yeah, I try to kind of figure this out, and I haven't been able to, and I think that's a good thing. Each team was different. Our 2015 team was very talented on both offense and defense. It's one of probably the most prolific offenses that Westville's ever had. Maybe a few of Coach Kaler's teams. The '77 team as being one of them. But last year's team, we had some good players coming back, and I thought we could be good. I don't know if as good as the 2015 team. This team really exceeded my expectations. But again, all three were different. They all take on a different personality. The 2015 team was spot on, focused from the start. They wanted to win a state championship, play at MetLife Stadium. I mean, I don't think we had a bad practice in 2015. Last year's team dealt with a lot of injuries, and their strength and resolve really just stood out. This year's team just never panicked. Just didn't get down when the offense struggled. The defense picked it up, and even when we needed offense, we got it. So each team was very different. So I wouldn't say we're like a machine. I wouldn't say it's that same formula that works every year. I think we've been able to use our playbook to what makes our players play their best, and on offense and defense. And we've been a little bit different each year in the way we've approached game plans and preparation. So I think that's what makes it even more special, that we've had great success. We've had 3 state champions in a row, but they've all been different.
Well, what specifically has, other than the young guys? I know they had a slogan this year: "Refuse to lose," and
I don't even think that was a slogan. I mean, I just think that that was an attitude. That was almost an unspoken attitude that this team just was going to refuse to lose. I mean, this was the first time in 2 years that we were losing in games, and or really struggling at times in games, and they never panicked. They never got down on themselves. We were able to make adjustments at halftime and come out in the second half. I think on defense in the second half, I think we let up, only 9 meaningful points in the second half of all our games this year. I don't think it's not something they talked about. I think I talked about it probably a lot, in interviews and things like that. But that was just the attitude, and it was they didn't have to talk about it. They just went out and did it.
In professional sports, or they always say it's really hard to repeat. Do you think in a high school level, is it because there's a turnover in players? Is it easier? I know when a team wins in the pros, or the players sort of get complacent, but you have new players coming in.
Well, no, I think it's hard. As I said, this is three different teams basically. We're graduating. I think between 19 and 24 seniors each of these 3 years, and all of them were contributors. So, it's very hard to replace seniors, and to replace them with sophomores. You just can't do that. So, you've got to have good junior class that's going to come up and replace those guys, and then you got to have those juniors that played, you got to have guys that can replace them. When you come back after a great year, a great junior player can't come back as himself. He's got to come back as one of those seniors. He's got to, get better each year. If our kids don't get better and better in the off season, improve each year, we're not going to be as successful. So, it's not as easy as, you look at it 3 years from the start of it and think, this was a piece of cake. No, it's a lot of hard work. I mean, we get everybody's best each week, and we play in a good league and a good division, and I was at a meeting last night. 4 of our teams won state championships. 7 of our teams were in state finals in our league. So, it's not easy. That's for sure.
And also, you have to have the ball bounce your way in certain situations,
Sure.
correct?
I mean, that's a big part of anything you do, and we emphasize to our kids about, if you play hard, if you play fast, if you play physical, you're going to get the roles, the calls. And we stress that.
I know, and I've talked to throughout the community. I've talked to former players of yours and parents and coaches who've coached with you, and they say that your X's and O's. You've created a winning culture with leadership, and also you've stressed fun, and there's definitely been discipline involved. So you've managed to sort of put all those aspects together.
Yeah, I mean, the way you say it, it's a lot, but I think when you hit on all of those in small doses and throw them at the team, I think you can be successful. I mean, we have a great coaching staff, great kids. This is a great community. Our parents are great. It's very. It's enjoyable for me to work with the team, but also to work with the parents too. I don't know if that's the case in a lot of other places. So that really helps in what we're trying to do, and it's very important. But when you have good kids that know how to have fun, but know when to be serious, and know how to work hard so they can have fun and make it enjoyable, that's what makes it special.
In terms of having fun, and they are kids, and if you could take me through when the bus pulls up in front of MetLife Stadium, these guys must all be like, they're walking into a stadium where Eli Manning plays and Odell Beckham Jr. They're going into these locker rooms, and how do you keep them grounded?
Well, luckily they do a field trip before. So before you get to play there, you get to spend a little time there. So we did that first, and the funny thing is there's not a lot of time to really. I think the one good thing about just the way that the process works when you go there is you basically get off the bus, go through a metal detector, go in the locker room, get dressed, and go out in the field. Like, there's not a lot of downtime there to kind of look around. You really don't have that much time. So in that regard, the schedule really helps. But I never got to play in one of these things. And I mean, I've gotten to coach in it, but our kids do a great job with just taking that whole atmosphere on. And I can't say I've coached them up on it because I don't have any experience in it. From our first group in 2015, they went about their business. They get in that locker room, and we kind of do things a little bit different than we normally do on a game day because we don't have time, not because it's a state final, and really, if you take away the amount of time that they can look around, I think we can get down to business, and we've been able to do a pretty good job of that, and everything goes pretty good.
In terms of the locker rooms, is the Giant locker room? Does one team get the Giant?
Both the Giants and the Jets have visiting locker rooms. Right. So both teams are housed in one of the visiting locker rooms, which is beautiful. It's just they're huge lockers. Every locker has an outlet. So for the first time in probably their lives, 70 kids' phones were being charged all at the same time because they all bring their chargers and plug in. but it's pretty cool. You know, I think the first year the Patriots were the last team in the locker room, so everyone wanted to know where, where Brady's locker was, and sometimes they leave some stuff up on the board and stuff. The Bears were in it last year, and this year it was the Carolina Panthers. So everybody thought they were in Cam Newton's locker. So it's pretty cool, and it's just like a pro locker room. There's a bench. Everybody pulls a bench out, puts their helmet out in the slot for the helmet, and they feel real good. There's TVs in there with countdown clocks, and they have the game before on, so they really know where we stand in terms of time. So it's special. It's nice. They do. MetLife in the state does a great job of just organizing the event to make it special for the kids.
So when these kids look back on it, this is an experience. Now you've got three groups of kids that have the same amazing experience.
You play a game in there on a Thursday night, and then on a Sunday there's an NFL game there, and you turn it on and watch, and it's a little different feeling. I know it is for me. I guess it is for the kids. And then you go in that stadium, whether it's for a football game or a concert, and then you can just think that you were playing a game on the field with fans in the stands cheering for you. It's pretty special.
And you've said that the Westfield fans are among the loudest and the.
I have no idea how, when that place is packed with 70, 80,000, that you can hear, because, we've had great crowds, and I don't know the numbers, but the crowds that you see at our games and from both teams is unbelievable, and you can't hear on the field. It's loud, and I don't know what percentage of the stadium's filled, but it's not a lot, and you can't hear. So I can't imagine what it's like when that place is packed for a Giant or a Jet game.
And for yourself, when you're coaching and you look up it and you say, "Wow, this is incredible that I've created. I've helped to create this environment."
I definitely look up and say, "Wow." I don't put it on myself, but I put it on our kids, that our kids have, been able to accomplish and get to this spot. But yeah, you look up and it's just all those people, and it's a great feeling.
And in terms of, is there other organizations or teams or coaches that you follow or that you emulate or you've created relationships with to pattern your program after?
I think with I know high school football, but a lot of everybody steals, and we go out as coaches in the wintertime and go to a lot of clinics and trying to steal what works from a lot of different programs. There's great college football in New Jersey, and Rutgers, and Montclair State, and Monmouth, and Princeton, and those guys will always help us out and open their doors and work with us and give us what they have, and we learn from them. But we've gone out to a bunch of different schools and listened to coaches, and so yeah, we steal from everybody and try and take what we think will work for us or modify it that works for us. But yeah, we as coaches get out and try and, I wouldn't say one particular person. There are guys that, from a position standpoint, Kyle Flood was the head coach at Rutgers, but I go back to following him when he was an assistant at Hofstra and do a lot of things from an offensive line standpoint. And then when they were at Delaware, we stole a lot of stuff from them, what they do on offense. So a lot of different places.
And on a personal note, I know that your son won a state championship at Somerville.
Yeah, I can honestly, now I know what our parents have experienced the last 3 years, because I got to experience that, seeing my son win a state championship at Somerville High School. What an experience. My son has been on the sideline. He wasn't on the sideline this year because he had practice, but to be on the sideline for the first two and helping out, and he's always been a part of our program, and even in the summertime, and if he didn't have a workout, he'd always come and work out with us. And for him to get to experience what we've experienced is special. And as a dad, I had a little bit of a voice after our game, but after his game, my voice was shot for about a week, and it's awesome. It was awesome. And what made it even more special was there was probably about 25 Westfield people that came out to the game. Families, players, coaches, parents came out to support me, support my wife, support my son, my family. It was awesome. And even at the stadium Thursday night, my son got there a little bit late because he had practice, and people are coming up to him and wishing him luck. And when we got back to the after the bus dropped us off back at our field house, same thing. Parents, players coming off the bus winning the state championship, see my son and wish him luck before you went back to celebrating. So very special for me. Very for my family, and just very proud and excited to be a part of this community. Just for the support that they gave our kids and my kid too.
So you played your game on a Thursday, and he played at MetLife
They
Stadium.
played at Rutgers Saturday. Saturday night they played Rumson Fairhaven, beat them 20-15.
Oh wow! So it was a good game.
Oh yeah, real good game. They scored late, and he's an offensive lineman, had a great game. I'm really proud of him.
Oh great! Now your role also, you work here at the school as an assistant principal. How does those dual roles work together?
Well, it's a lot. It's a lot. You want to get your football stuff. I get here pretty early to get a lot of the football stuff done before school starts, so I can concentrate on my roles and responsibilities during the day, and then we'll sneak out for practice, and then once practice is over, you kind of have to get back and finish up and tie up some loose ends here. We've made it work. It's a great school to start with. We have great staff, but great administration. That we make it work.
And in terms of, did you always want to be in education from the time you were? When did you know you wanted to be in education?
I'm when I could only play Division III football. When I knew sports wasn't going to be in the cards after college. Athletics was something that I didn't want to really, I didn't want to get away from. So I felt like being a teacher, being a coach, was my path, and I really. Had a great high school experience. My coaches and my teachers were very influential on what I wanted to do growing up, and I wanted to be like them, and I still do. And so that's kind of where it went. If I was maybe a little bit taller and a little bit bigger, it might have changed things, but it is what it is.
And what position did you play?
I was an offensive lineman. I went to Montclair State. I played there for 4 years as an offensive lineman, and had a great experience there, both on and off the field, and just led me to this point.
And you grew up in northern New Jersey?
Yep, I went to Pompton Lakes High School, Passaic County. Again, another great experience. Small town, hardworking people, and just great experiences. In high school, youth sports. I kind of use that and look back on those experiences and try to use them and as great examples for our kids all the time.
And last time we spoke, you said that your mom and dad growing up instilled a work ethic in you that you think helped with your coaching and everything you do today.
Yeah, my mom was she was a nurse, worked in the delivery room for 40 years, and when we were in school, she worked nights, weekend nights. And so we'd get to the weekend, and she'd sleep through most of it because she'd worked the whole weekend. My dad was just a hard worker. He worked in a company up there and had a couple of different roles, but he was kind of guy that was at work an hour early. Got the Daily News and it was the Patterson News or the Herald News at the time, and read those. Got his crossword puzzle done because he was at work so early, and then. Busted his hump all day long, and then came home, and then that's when we read the papers. But, just people that, never took a day off. We didn't have too much vacation time because everybody was always doing something. But, I was always appreciative of just their hard work and try to be like them, that's for sure.
And I know since you've been, I guess certain things have changed a little bit in your life. Were you with the Grand Marshal this year at the parade?
Yeah, that was, that was nice. That was a surprise, and it's nice. I was very honored, and again, this is a great community, and I'm very appreciative, very lucky that in 2006 Ed Tranquina hired me to be the head football coach, and got a teaching job here, and it's the best move I've made, and it's really. Everything has been great, again, working, in this community, working with our, PAL, they have great feeder program for our football program, and to have that opportunity, the Italian American club in town honoring me was special.
Well, when you first came, the football team, they were really good in the 70s and the early 80s. But when you took over in 2006, correct?
Yep.
They had they weren't really winning at
Yeah,
that point.
yeah, they were struggling. They had some success in the mid '90s, made it to a state final. Early 2000s, real early 2000s, won a couple of division championships, and then, the mid 2000s they started to struggle, and I got, I was lucky to get hired here, and I was I think we were able to put a good coaching staff together, kept a lot of the coaches that were already on staff, and that 2006 senior class was they only won 2 games. They were 2-18 coming into their senior year, and they bought into what we were throwing at them. We had a pretty intense summer conditioning program, and they bought into it. And we won 6-4 that first year. And we lost our first game to Linden. Mohammed Wilkerson, defensive tackle for the Jets, was a senior on that team, so it was a good Linden team. But we played them tough, and the kids never, they didn't quit. We battled all year. We didn't make the playoffs, but finished 6-4, and that group is very special to me. And I only got to coach them 1 year, and I was only in the district for a year for them, and I didn't even teach here. I taught at Roosevelt, the middle school, that year. But still have great relationship with those guys. A lot of them, they're texting, calling me before a game, after the game, and they come to the guys that are local come to the games. And but that group is what really got us going. If they don't buy in to what we were doing, I don't know if we can ever get to this point.
So that was the old change the culture sort of.
Yeah. I mean, Ed Trinkina, who was coaching, who was the athletic director, was wanted the program to go in a different direction, and and I did things a little bit different, and we did things a little bit different, and I think it's what the kids needed. Sometimes you just need that. You need a little bit of change. You need to do something a little bit different. To spark the kids. And I think we sparked them. And, some of those guys had great senior years, and then they even did well in their other sports, which was great. We had a kid, Santo Nardi, who was a defensive lineman for us, and he really bought in, got in great shape, and then he went on to have a great basketball season, which no one had expected. I don't think he expected. So, and we saw that with kids in other sports too. So, I owe it a lot, if not everything, to that group of seniors in 2006.
Right now in football, and we spoke about this last time, there's a lot of concern about safety in football, and you said that you use fitness and get the kids prepared so that you can be in a position to prevent injuries and have a safe as a safe environment as possible.
I truly believe you can't control injuries. Things are going to happen, but we tell our kids all the time, if you work hard in the off season, you get in great shape, you get as strong as you can be, the chances for injuries are going to decrease. They're not going to go away, but they're going to decrease. And so that's one approach. The other approach is how well you instruct and teach. It's so important to teach the contact parts of the sport correctly, blocking, tackling. Those things are vital. And if you teach both of those things, give your kids an understanding of why it's being taught that way. All right, and by doing it wrong, here's the ways you can injure yourself. You're going to be all right. We're not a concussion-free team. I think we had 2 or 3 this year. It's 2 or 3 too many. And then you look at those injuries, and then you got to evaluate and really look at them and say, what can we do different to try and avoid that happening next year? So, it's a contact sport. It could be a violent sport, but I think if you teach it, if you're very conscious of how you teach the contact, you can really minimize a lot of the injuries. Our kids have really done a great job of just, we tackle well. And we teach it hard, and we constantly go over the fundamental parts of tackling. and they do a good job of it. And I don't know if we've had a concussion from tackling, which you see a lot of defensive players in the NFL and getting concussions, and it's how to use how not to use your head and how to use it properly and how to get your body in the right athletic stance and contact spots. And again, going back, I know I'm a little long-winded here. Again, the fitness part is crucial. It's crucial, and it makes all the difference in the world. And the teaching part is just as important.
Have parents in the recent years come up to you and questioned and asked you about the injury factor or anything in that line?
No, not here. I mean, I think we've done a pretty good job, minimizing our injuries. We had some. We've had some non-contact injuries, some knee injuries, and we've had some contact injuries. But no, we usually do a winter clinic with the PAL coaches with our youth program, and we try to really explain how we're going to teach these things, how we're going to teach tackling, how we teach blocking, and I think they do a great job down there. Our youth, our feeder programs are tremendous, and but no, I mean I haven't been questioned about it, but again we work hard as a staff to teach and to try and avoid as many injuries as we can.
Well, obviously, there's a lot of positive sides of football in terms of building a team and leadership, and winning is fun. And you've seen a great deal of positive things come from your teams.
Yeah, I mean it's just it's the ultimate team sport. I wish we've got 67 players from sophomore to senior in our program, and I wish every one of them could play. There's one ball, so not everybody can carry the ball every play, and there's only 11 spots on offense and 11 on defense. But the truth is, we try and tell our kids, there's really 88 starting positions in football. You count all the special teams, and they're all important. So we try to get as many kids out there and on the field as we can, and we can't get everybody out there, and that bothers me. I want everybody to play and be a part of it, but we emphasize Tuesdays and Wednesdays so much in our program about preparation, how to get to Saturday, to make Saturday hopefully easier for us, and the efforts from all those 67 kids on Tuesdays and Wednesdays are what make us who we are. And and again, it goes back to being the ultimate team sport. Not everybody can carry the ball every play. Not everybody can be in there, on the big, on offense or defense. And there are guys that have make a great impact on a program that not always get on the field on Saturday. They're doing it on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and doing these little things that help make us better. And again, that comes back to being an ultimate team sport. And then now you feel bad you didn't get on the field, but you'll look back in 5, 10, 15, 20 years and realize what the impact of being part of this team or that team does for you, and I think it'll always be a positive.
Well, while we're concluding here, what would you like when the kids look back, not only winning, but what would you like them to think back about their time in Westfield High School and as football players here?
That they enjoyed it. The wins are great. We'll learn from losses, but that they come back too. I want them to come back. My wife, at our Thanksgiving Day game, she usually sits on the other side because it's sunny on the other side of our home field, and she really, so she watches from there. And on the sidelines of our Thanksgiving game, she said you must have had 50 former players with their jackets on back at the game. And then I saw a picture on Facebook after the game of about 25 of them, took a picture, and that's special. We want the kids to come back. That's important to me, that they'll come back and come on our sidelines, come to practice before they leave for college in August, come to our games, and just come say hi. And I always tell them, don't be a stranger, but if they want, that they had an enjoyable experience. That they'll take the things from being on a team and being on a successful team, and they'll use those things in life, family, business, relationships. They'll use those things without even knowing. We all do that have played these team sports, but I just want them to come back with a smile. And if they weren't happy with the experience, I want to know about it too, because I want to fix it.
And I know we have to talk about next year again. What do you think about looking forward to next year?
Um, I think we got a long way to go. Kind of our weight room stuff. We'll get started in January, and then we'll start evaluating and see where we're at. We've got some kids that are coming back that can play, but we need some of our younger kids, our juniors to be seniors, our sophomores to be juniors, and even some of our freshmen to be sophomores. We're going to need those guys to step up and take on some big roles. Don't know if they can do it yet. We're going to find out, but we really haven't asked the kids to get in the weight room yet, and they're all popping in. So I like where we're going.
And is there any way? Is there any funny stories or any anecdotes you'd like to end with?
I just I really liked this team. They were a lot of fun to be around. I mean, even times to get a little too silly, but we have a special tradition. The day before each game, and one of our assistants, Coach Deon, he spends a lot of time putting together just a little speech for the kids each week, and he covers a lot of different things, and they're great. And we've had some college coaches that came to watch practice this year, and when he was done talking, they were like ready to go out and kill. He really does a great job. My brother last year, who lives in Missouri, came in with his sons to watch our final game and had an opportunity to listen to him speak, and he was just looking at me like, how awesome is this? And, what our team, after each speech, and it, the way they would break would just kind of always crack me up. He'd give this great speech, and he'd be all fired up and storm off. They'd all cheer. And then, Adam McDaniel or Stevie Barden would break with a part of the speech. But, as us coaches would walk away, it would always make us giggle. It would always make us laugh the way they broke the team. And, and that was great about, and it's been great about our program and our kids that, they take in what you say. They show it on the field. And they can still have fun with everything that we're doing. And that's important. That's special.
What is the nature of the speeches? Are they comedy?
No. They're all over the place, and we don't want to get too in depth because they're for this. They're for our team, and they're for the kids. And no, they're special. They are special, and I'm to the point where I even if I have something that I want to say to the team, I'm going to hold back. I'll save it for the next day. I'll save it for another time because our kids really enjoy them. But they get something out of it too. A lot of the themes that he'll come up with, we'll play the game the next day, and then you'll hear the guys still talking about it. You'll hear the guys that'll still reference back to what he said, and it's great. But again, all the coaches will be walking away while the team will break, and they'll break with something that just makes you giggle, and that's just the way they are. And so to be able to do what we've done. And then to be able to still laugh and joke around and have some fun too doing it is what really makes this experience incredible.
So they're all walking away with big smiles and
Yeah, they're fired up, and but they're able to, they take it in though.
no, I mean they're walking away from the season with big smiles.
Absolutely.
I know they're ready to play after the speech. They're ready.
Absolutely, to see the kids. We played on a Thursday. To have them come in Friday afternoon after school to give their equipment in. You have these great smiles on your faces, and then some of those seniors start to get emotional because it's the last time. But yeah, I mean it's a great feeling. It is a great feeling, and I try and encourage these guys to enjoy it because you never know if you're going to get back. And we've been lucky and we've been blessed to be able to do it 2 more times after 2015. But you never know, and that's just kind of the way we roll.
Well, thank you, Coach. It's been great to talk to you again, and hopefully, I was thinking maybe we could do a part 2 because we have a lot of people in the community who have some questions for you.
Awesome. Enjoyed sitting down talking with you, and anytime.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, you're very welcome.